Okay, so we're going to have a look at this question now where we have to rewrite a piece of pseudocode algorithm using a different construct. This is from the March paper. Oh. So this is from the March paper 2017. Okay, so that's where this question has actually come from. So it's asking us to use this algorithm and convert it using this iteration, a while do end while loop. Okay, before we start sort of converting this program into another version with the while loop, we need to understand how the while loop actually works. Okay, so the while loop is a structure that is used when the number of repetitions or iterations is not known and the actions are only repeated while a given condition is true. If the while condition is untrue when the loop is first entered, then the actions in the loop are never actually performed. Okay, so we can actually look at this and think about how the structure is. So what will happen is you have your while and then you have your condition in here, and then if that condition is true, then your loop, which goes in here, okay, is executed. All right, okay, so we're going to have a go at that. So let me just erase content so we can see that. Okay, cool. Okay, so we know that the structure of this program is going to be more or less what we've got on the screen or what we've got on the paper. Okay, so we know that the first command is going to be input num. Okay, so this bit here wouldn't actually change. Okay, and we know that we're going to have a while. Okay, a while loop, and we're going to have to put in a counter because we've got to get it to look for a counter, and then we've got to put in do. This isn't correct at the moment, but what I'm doing is I'm just working through a theory and then actioning it afterwards. So I'll go back and change the code. We know that in the loop, okay, once we start the loop, we know that we have to have the same code that we've got on the line number 3 and line number 4. Okay, so in this case I'm just going to use equals, even though I'm using word. It's supposed to be an arrow, but I'm going to use equals. So num counter. Oh, so num counter, and then on the next line we're going to initialize our array, or we've got our array, which is counter. Oh, keep missing the capital letter. So we've got counter, and that will equal num. Okay, now end while. In pseudocode we need to make sure we end the while loop as well. So at the moment I don't think this is going to work, okay, because what's happening is there's no condition, it's just saying while counter do, and then it enters that loop. So we need a way of having this loop a certain number of times, in this case 12 times. Okay, so what I was thinking was have an initial counter here. So if I was to say counter and then initialize that as 1, so that will start off as 1, and then if I said here the condition is less than 12, so this will allow this loop to start. So if the counter is 1, and then it will say while counter is less than 12, which it is because you set it as 1, do these statements. Now the issue is what's making this loop stop. At the moment there's nothing stopping the exit of the loop, so there's nothing allowing the loop to reach 12. Okay, so we've got to get this counter to go up by 1 every time it goes round. Okay, so we can say counter equals counter plus 1, and then what happens is every time it goes around the loop, it adds 1 to the counter, so it'll become 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, until it reaches 12. And when it reaches 12, it will end the while loop. Now this paper, or this exam paper, is actually worth 4 marks. Now from what I understand from the mark scheme, you get a mark for having a correct while loop. Okay, you get a mark for initializing the counter. You don't get marks for content that was originally here, so you won't get marks for that bit. Okay, so I'll put across there, you won't get marks for that bit and you won't get marks for that bit, because this is you're just taking code from the initial statement there. But you will get marks for having a counter there and having the correct initialization of the while loop in your work as well. Okay, yeah, so that's how you rewrite a piece of pseudocode that has got loop in it, and you're changing the structure from a for loop to a while loop. Thank you for listening.